Good afternoon. We have a couple of things we want to talk about, and then obviously we'll take some questions. First thing, and I'll address the tuition freeze. As you know, we froze tuition. The board voted to freeze tuition again for the upcoming fiscal year. We believe very strongly in affordability and access to higher education. We want to keep our tuition and fees affordable so that any Missouri citizen and those from other states that want a college education can afford to come here to one of our campuses. We believe it's very significant because through our vote, it keeps our tuition below the national average of public doctoral institutions and significantly below the private doctoral national average. On average, the MU system now has raised tuition and required fees by an average of 2.3% annually over the past 5 years, compared to an average of 6% by comparable institutions in our surrounding states. And those modest increases have occurred while enrollment has now surpassed 75,000 students. We continue to set the pace nationally in keeping our education affordable for our students and while providing resources necessary for the university to still maintain a quality academic institution.
Thanks, Chairman Downing. I'm very pleased with the board's vote on freezing tuition. It is very important that we keep the University of Missouri 4 campuses in the system affordable and accessible for all students, not only in the state of Missouri, but those outside the state that are interested in a high-quality education. We're doing quite a fantastic job on delivering high-quality education. Unfortunately, as Chairman Downing said, there's good news and bad news with having a valuable, quality academic experience at a low price is you're in much demand. So we've had all-time highs in students. We have 75,000 students on our campus. The applications that are coming in right now suggest that we'll achieve an all-time high next fall semester as well. That being said, I highlighted in my board report the capital needs, specifically the buildings, and more specifically, the area of STEM, which is becoming a bottleneck for us because the state's high dependency on the University of Missouri System 4 campuses to produce STEM graduates, and we're not producing enough right now. And one of the bottlenecks is that lab space and classroom space to have that high-quality STEM education. So I highlighted that. I also highlighted, as part of the board presentation today, the 50-50 match program, where we have received $40 million of commitments from our donors, business leaders, and individuals. Sometimes they're alumni, sometimes they're just friends of the university. $40 million for 7 projects across our 4 campuses. That's looking for a $40 million match from the state of Missouri. If, in fact, they approve that match, we will get these projects or buildings built, and it will result in 4,000 jobs, which is badly needed in the state as well. So we're excited about that opportunity, and now I'd like to open it up for questions.
How concerned are you about the building situation, especially here on Columbia's campus? And I mean, this is the majority of the money right here.
Well, we highlighted some areas of immediate need in the presentations today. The funding requests for 50-50 are Laffrey Hall, a new business school, because they're Laffrey Hall, just based on the age, the business school, they're out of capacity. They have more demand than they got capacity to teach. They've got the partial project on the new Arts and Science building, and then the wine, I can't remember the name of the building, we can get you the specifics. These are necessary investments if we want to support the increased class sizes, and also if we want to continue to deliver the quality education that's expected of us from our students is also expected from businesses that hire our graduates. So it is, many of these are in the critical phase where we're really struggling trying to keep the buildings open and available.
Are all of the projects that are on MU's campus in particular 50-50 match?
No. No, there's a lot of other projects. At the same time, it's a great question. The legislature, Representative Caleb Jones, who represents part of where we're sitting right now, has offered up a bill, $1.2 billion in it for bonding, state bonding. In it is $600 million that would be dedicated to buildings for higher education. So we obviously would be supporting that as well. which would give us much-needed relief in the state financing some of these critical building needs.
Is there a priority between Calebsville and then Representative Chris Kelly's bill at this point?
It's one and the same. It's, yes, Representative Kelly and Representative Jones work together on that.
When do you think work will actually start to be done with some of these buildings in critical condition?
When will they be completed?
Well, when will any construction start?
Well, we're doing a lot of construction right now. Regarding the 50-50 match, when the funding comes available, I don't know how long it would take to go out, because we'd have to approve the project plan and hire the design firm, and so I don't know. I can't answer the question in terms of the exact start date, but it would be soon.
What was the tipping point? This is for both of you. For you to choose kind of your project for the year and then your theme for the year. What prompted that?
You know, I've been on the board 5 years now, and we have had, we've felt compelled to look at our cost structure over that time period, and with Tim on board now and his strategic plan, which focuses on continually, are we inefficient in certain areas? Can we reduce or eliminate unnecessary costs? We have a process in place now that's focused on that, and I'm confident the President will continue to follow through on that, and the chancellors every year. So I thought it was time to shed some light on the revenue side of the equation, and there are multiple things that I went through in my report today on that, and we spent a full day in this board meeting, as you know, focusing on increased donations from the private sector, encouraging our alums and our business community to partner with us and build the types of institutions they want to have in this state. So that's why I thought it was so important to focus on alternative sources of revenue.
Have you guys hired a firm for the investigation yet?
We have not, but we're going to get on that right away. We're hopeful that in the next 2 or 3 weeks, we will have made some progress in that area. This is something the board takes very seriously. We want to take the time necessary to find the right firm to do this. We want to make sure the firm is independent, competent, knowledgeable, and focused. And we don't want this to drag on forever. We want them to have the time to devote to it right away so we can get an answer very quickly.
Have you started looking yet?
We have been in contact with multiple firms, both within the state and outside of the state.
How does that work with you guys all being obviously in the state, kind of connecting as you get into that process?
Could you repeat that question? I didn't hear the first part of it.
How does it work when you're trying to hire counsel, since you're all in opposite parts of the state?
Well, the board passed a resolution this week, as you know, that asked the executive committee of the board, which is 3 persons, to work together to find the appropriate firm. And 2 of those persons on the executive committee, I'm one, another is a St. Louis person, and the third is from Cassville, Missouri, and he's graciously volunteered to travel to St. Louis to work with us on that project. So, so we're going to move forward expeditiously on it. We have every intention to get something in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
What was your biggest takeaway from yesterday's discussion? Just getting to sit down with each other all day and plot some potential revenue sources.
I was very excited, and I was very happy with the interest and the focus, not only by the board members, but also by the folks on the campuses. We have some outstanding development directors on our campuses. And it was just fascinating to me to see them in the same room sharing some of these ideas and learning from each other, learning from our consultant, having the board learn from everybody, and then fashioning action plans, both on how we can improve the fundraising efforts on each of our campuses and what the system, the president, and each board member can do to help in that effort. I was very invigorated by the discussion yesterday.
Anybody on the phone? Anybody listening on the phone? Questions? Okay, let's go one more.
Back to the firm. Do you have a price range that you're looking at?
The price range is reasonable.
What exactly does that mean?
Reasonable. That's what it means. No, we're not going to set any artificial targets. We're going to be looking at firms of various price ranges. We have not yet even been quoted prices by firms, so we're not far enough along to have a sense of what the market price for a reasonable rate for this type of work would be. But we want a reasonable price, and that's about all I can say today.
All right, thank you, Marie.
Thanks.